Welcome to vpod.ai, everyone.
Great to be here.
Today, we're diving into something, well, really quite hopeful, actually. It's a new approach to fighting cancer in dogs.
Yeah, and it's so needed. I mean, cancer is it's a leading cause of death for dogs, It affects something like 1 in 3.
1 in 3, that's huge. And current treatments, well, they can be tough, right?
Yeah.
Expensive, invasive.
Definitely. But there's some really exciting developments happening, offering options that might be, well, gentler and maybe even more effective.
Exactly. And we're going to explore this through a really powerful story today.
Right, the story of Reineer. He's an Akita who faced cancer twice. His experience is, well, it really shines a light on this new immunotherapy vaccine.
It's quite a journey. So Reineer was about 8 years old, I think, when his owner, Casey Bentz, first noticed he was limping.
Uh-huh. And she initially thought maybe it was just from some old knee surgeries he'd had. Pretty reasonable assumption.
Yeah, totally. But the
Yeah.
actual diagnosis was devastating. Bone cancer.
And the prognosis was really grim, wasn't it? Like maybe only a couple of months
It's
left.
just awful. But Casey, well, she's got a background as a police investigator, so she's not someone who just accepts things. She's proactive.
Absolutely, you can see that. She went for a second opinion right away.
And Reineer ended up having his front right leg amputated, followed by chemotherapy.
A really tough path, but she was clearly committed, doing everything she could.
Definitely. And then something kind of amazing happened during a follow-up visit.
Oh, yeah.
Casey overheard some vets talking, some oncologists about this new immunotherapy trial. It was happening over at Washington State University's veterinary teaching hospital.
Wow, just by chance.
Seems like it, a real turning point.
Okay.
Casey, she jumped right on it, looked into getting Reineer into that trial.
Makes sense, so he got in.
He did. He received 2 doses of this vaccine. It's called the EGFR HER2 vaccine.
Okay, EGFR and HER2. Those are markers, right? Like signals on some cancer cells?
Exactly. They help the cancer grow. So this vaccine, it was developed by a Yale team under Mark Mamula. The idea is to basically train Reineer's own immune system to go after those specific cells.
Right, harnessing the body's own defenses.
And for a while, things looked good. It seemed like it worked.
But it didn't last.
Unfortunately, no. About a year later, the cancer came back, this time in his lungs.
Oh, heartbreaking.
Yeah,
After everything.
I know. But Casey, again, she didn't give up. She actually contacted Mark Mamula, the Yale researcher, directly.
Really? Just reached out.
Yep. And incredibly, he authorized a booster shot of the immunotherapy for Reineer.
Wow. That's pretty amazing access.
It really is. And what happened after that booster?
Well, it's kind of stunning. Reineer went back to the vet later for something totally unrelated, some digestive issue.
Okay.
And the oncologist checked his lungs again and told Casey basically that they couldn't find the mass anymore.
Wait, gone.
Gone. Or at least not detectable, not in his lungs, not anywhere else they looked. That's incredible. Truly incredible. It really shows the potential of this immunotherapy, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And Reineer today, he's apparently back to his old self, chasing critters around. Casey says he has puppy energy.
Fantastic. How old is he now?
He's 9 and seemingly, cancer-free, thanks in large part to that vaccine.
Such a great outcome. And a lot of this work, this trial, it's being supported by an organization, right?
That's right. The Canine Cancer Alliance, they're a nonprofit based up in Seattle, founded back in 2017 by Mari Maeda.
And Mari Maeda has a really interesting background herself. She used to be an executive at DARPA.
DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. Yeah, they're known for funding some really cutting-edge, high-tech stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating that someone with her experience in managing these, really complex, ambitious projects is now focused on canine cancer.
What was her motivation? Why the shift?
Well, it's actually quite personal and sad. She lost 3 of her own dogs to cancer. Yeah. And that experience just left her feeling really dissatisfied with the treatments that were available. She felt there had to be better options, better access to research.
Especially in a place like Seattle, you'd think.
Right. So she decided to take her DARPA skills, that project management mindset, and apply it to this problem.
That makes so much sense, using that structured approach to drive progress.
Totally. And apparently a lot of her old colleagues from DARPA are involved too. They share that passion for helping dogs.
So what has the Canine Cancer Alliance achieved so far?
They've made some real strides. They've funded, I think, 8 different research projects. And this EGFR2 vaccine trial we've been talking about is a really big one for them.
So they're funding the Yale team?
Yes, the Yale researchers and also Theragen. That's the company actually manufacturing the vaccine.
Ah, okay. Connecting the research to the actual production, that's crucial.
Absolutely vital, making sure the science actually leads to a usable treatment.
And this trial, it's not just a small thing, is it? It's reached quite a few dogs.
No, it's pretty substantial. So far, 600 dogs have been involved across 11 clinics in the U.S. Two of those clinics are right there in Washington state.
600 dogs. Wow. And what types of cancer are they targeting with this vaccine?
Primarily three types right now. Osteosarcoma, which is the bone cancer Reineer had, hemangiosarcoma, that's a cancer of the blood vessels, and urothelial carcinoma, bladder cancer.
Okay. And are they seeing positive results across the board, particularly with osteosarcoma?
The results for osteosarcoma are looking really, really promising.
How so?
Well, typically, the one-year survival rate for dogs with osteosarcoma after standard treatment is maybe around 35%.
Okay, not great.
Not great at all. But with this immunotherapy vaccine added in the trial, that one-year survival rate jumped to about 65%.
65%, that's nearly double.
Exactly. It's a really significant improvement, a huge leap, potentially.
And is that the ceiling? Or is there hope for even better results? Mari Maeda seems to think so.
Yeah, she's quite optimistic. Her belief is that by combining this vaccine with other sort of similar immunotherapy drugs, they might push those survival rates even higher, maybe to 90% or more.
90%. That would be a game changer.
Absolutely revolutionary for treating canine cancer. And there's another potential benefit, too, maybe reducing the need for amputation.
Oh, that would be huge for the dog's quality of life. Osteosarcoma often means losing a limb, right?
Often, yes. But there's already some early evidence suggesting that using palliative radiation, which is less intense than full-blown radiation along with the vaccine, dogs might survive for almost a year without surgery.
Without amputation, that's amazing.
It points towards a future with, possibly less invasive treatments overall.
Which also brings us to the cost, right?
Yeah.
Because traditional cancer care for dogs is, frankly, incredibly expensive.
Oh, definitely. It's a massive barrier for so many people. You're looking at like $10,000 easily for radiation. Surgery and chemo together, that can be $10,000, $20,000, sometimes even more.
It's just out of reach for a lot of families. But this immunotherapy approach, at least in the trial, seems different.
Yeah, the costs reported from that WSU trial were much lower. The combination of the palliative radiation and the vaccine was around $1,500.
$1,500 compared to $10,000 or $20,000.
Right. And remember, the median survival time with that approach was almost a year. So potentially much more affordable for a good outcome.
That's a huge difference. And then there's the issue of just getting the treatment. Access.
Exactly. Right now, specialized cancer care is usually only at, specialty clinics, big veterinary hospitals.
Which might be hours away or just not feasible for everyone.
Right. So Mary Maeda's hope, her vision, is that eventually these immunotherapy treatments could become common enough to be offered at, your regular local vet clinic.
That would make such a difference in accessibility.
Huge. It could really change the landscape of canine cancer care, making it gentler, maybe more effective, and definitely more accessible and affordable.
It feels like a real paradigm shift is possible here. The work the Canine Cancer Alliance is doing, stories like Reineer's, it really does offer a lot of hope.
It truly does. These advancements are just a powerful example of what happens when dedicated research and really innovative thinking get applied to these tough problems that affect our pets.
Reineer's story is just such a testament to the potential here, isn't it? And it really highlights the work of groups like the Canine Cancer Alliance. They're crucial.
And it's just fascinating, too, how expertise from somewhere like DARPA, from National Security Project Management, can be leveraged so effectively for improving the lives of our dogs.
It really is. It underscores how important it is to keep funding this kind of research, supporting these organizations that are pushing for better treatments.
Couldn't agree more. And, speaking of protecting things that are really important, today's deep dive was brought to you by StoneFly.
Yes, StoneFly. They offer a whole range of data storage solutions, really focused on security and reliability, helping businesses make sure their valuable information is safe.
Yeah, they use some really innovative technologies for data protection.
That's right. Like their 100 TB immutable and air-gapped SSO NAS, it's actually available for $8,995 right now.
Okay, tell me more about that. Immutable and air-gapped.
Yeah, so immutability means the data, once written, can't be changed or deleted, which is great against ransomware. Air gapping adds another layer of security, kind of physically isolating it. Plus, it has single sign-on, SSO, for easier access management.
So really robust security features. Sounds like a solid way to safeguard critical digital assets. $8,995 for 100 TB with all that. Seems like a strong offer.
Definitely something for businesses needing serious data protection to look into.
So, thinking about this canine cancer breakthrough,
Yeah.
it really gets you wondering, doesn't it?
Yeah, how so?
Well, what does this mean for the future of animal health more broadly? Could we see similar immunotherapy successes for other diseases or even in other species? It really opens up possibilities.
That's a great point. Where else could this kind of targeted immune therapy lead? It's definitely something worth thinking about.